Darkness has descended upon the city, and the creatures of the night have begun to stir. This is the time when the veil between the realms of the living and the dead is the thinnest, and all that is not what it appears to be. Like a lone sentinel, one candle flickers in the night, revealing all that lurks in the darkness. This is Ghost Chronicles, Book of Shadows. Welcome to the nightmare.
Well, good evening, and I am that lone candle flickering in the night, Ron Kolek, New England's own Van Helsing, and with me, my co-host, the wicked witch from the West, Marla Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, never gets old, does it? Anyway, we actually have a guest tonight, so we have to be nice.
Yes, yes.
He is probably the hardest working man in the paranormal, and I've known him for centuries, I think, probably.
Wow.
Well, longer than the Pope's been around. So he is none other than the Queen of Zine, Jeff Belanger.
What?
Did I say something?
No, you said something great. Good to be with you again. It's been a long time.
It has been. Yeah, well, ever since you got famous and popular, like you don't ever come on, you don't write anymore, you don't call.
Go on.
That's all I got to say. No more Valentine's. That's a cheese.
Yeah. Well, I miss you.
Mm-hmm.
But in all seriousness, you are, as far as I'm concerned, the hottest working man in the paranormal. People don't even know half the crap you do.
Well, thanks. As you know, it doesn't pay well, so you got to work in volume.
That's true.
That's right.
You're the proprietor of Ghost Village, which is like the oldest paranormal site in the world, and author of 16,000 books. Works on the Ghost Adventurers, New England Legends. Oh, I can't keep going. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot the newest one. Zines, whatever the frick they are. Zines.
Huh?
Zines.
Zines.
A zine.
A zine.
Ah.
Yeah, we're going back, old school.
So
Wow.
what the hell is a zine?
So
It's
a
like
zine is
turntables.
short for magazine without the MAGA. So it's back in the 80s and 90s. It was a time when media conglomerates were consolidating, right? There was only a few newspaper companies. There was only a few media companies. They were all like one thing. And so desktop publishing started to get to be a thing, and people figured out like, hey, I can do it myself. So people started zines, and a zine could be literally photocopied, made with a typewriter, handwritten, right? It was underground is what it was. And when I started working in publications in the early 1990s, I started on zines. We had a humor magazine, we had a news zine, and we were using desktop publishing, and we were getting our stuff out there independently, no corporate overlord or whatever. And so it was a really big thing. But then the internet came along in the later 1990s, and suddenly you were like, wow, for like $100 a year, I can have a website and I can publish unlimited stuff. And it was the Wild West. It was like, wow, we can get our work out there. So, Ghost Village was part of that. 1999, started Ghost Village.
I remember
And then the media
that.
landscape has changed quite a bit over the last 25 years, as you know.
So I already got corrected from the chat room saying that whatever happened to 30 odd minutes.
God, that was great, wasn't it? You know what's funny? So I was doing StreamYard live streams before there was such a thing, right? So 30 odd minutes was a show I did. Oh my God, was it 2009 or something like that? And I have a local cable access station. And as you know, nobody watches cable access. Each station has 4, maybe 5 viewers on a good night. But I was like, okay, how do we get good guests on a show about the paranormal, knowing they're going to only reach 4 people? And so Skype was kind of new. And so we figured out a way to get Skype into the board, and then I could have guests Skype in. And then we figured out a way to live stream it. And then we figured out a way to take the recording and put it on YouTube. And then we figured out a way to give it to cable access stations across the country where dozens and dozens of these stations were playing it. And suddenly we sort of built this audience, which was super cool. And it was a lot of fun. And we were doing something innovative that no one else was doing. Now you see it every day on, people can just use, green screens and whatever, or virtual backgrounds and have, just use StreamYard. But back then we were doing it with bubblegum, duct tape, and a dream.
Yeah. And by the way, the name 30 Odd Members is probably the most brilliant name for a show that I know of. And I understand that didn't come from you.
No, my wife thought of that. That was it. Because they're like, well, it's like 60 minutes, but it's only a half hour and it's weird. I'm like, yeah, that's all true. And it's like 30 odd minutes. I'm like, that's about right. That sums it up.
So you married her for something.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, so she was my first, back in the zine days, back in the newspaper days when I started in media. She was my editor and I was a writer. And the joke is she's been correcting me ever since. Right?
So how long have you been married there, Mr. Belanger?
23 years.
Oh, well, you rookie, you.
I know.
53 for me, my friend.
53. Goodness gracious. Congratulations. What do you get at that stage?
You can kiss my ring.
Yeah. All right. What's the secret? Stay away from her?
You know,
Do a lot of paranormal stuff?
He says, taught me how to astral project. So just go somewhere else.
So who you do a lot of cooking. Who's teaching who?
Who are you talking about?
You keep
Hey,
putting stuff
about
on the.
me, it's about Jeff Belanger.
I know, but we're getting there. Come on.
I don't need anybody to teach me anything. I just,
Well, you keep posting it, so I didn't know if
I
she.
do.
was-
Well, somebody asked me for the recipe. Said I don't have no freaking recipe. I put things together to taste. And then
Okay, just curious.
all right, there you go. Sorry,
Kind
Jeff.
of like his radio show.
Shut up.
There's no recipe. You're just swinging it.
Exactly.
Now I know why you haven't been back on.
Yeah,
So.
I know. I've been banned. You forgot about the ban at your age.
Well, now I'm going to invite him back on my show now to take, Yeah.
He has 2 shows. You got to have at least 6 listeners.
You're right. You got to outdo my cable access station locally.
Jeff, isn't that funny though? When we were starting out in the beginning,
Mhm.
you got asked to go on a radio show. That was kind of a big deal.
Mhm.
Well, sure it was. Yeah. I mean, so the fact that anyone wanted to hear what you had to say it's still flattering. Honestly, it truly is. Even tonight, even with you.
Yeah, there goes the Christmas card.
No joke. Ron, how long have we known each other? 20 plus years, right?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah. 2004, maybe 5. I don't know. Something like
I have
that.
no idea.
So no, of course it was flattering to be like, wow, someone cares what I have to say. And then at some point you realize, well, actually I have something to say. And then it sort of becomes part of you. And then you realize like, this is, it's a calling, like to do the sort of work that we do. You've got some big questions and you're looking for answers and you realize there's other people that are doing the same thing. And I don't know, there's some higher calling to it. I can't articulate it better than that because I haven't figured it out yet, but I can just say there's something to it.
I consider it more of a glutton for punishment.
That's fair.
There are
That's totally
days. Yes. Mhm.
fair. Yeah.
This Ghost Chronicles radio show started on WCCM. And I think I might have started on your show on the Ghost Village earlier than that. I'm not sure. I'm kind of muddled there, but I started on Friday the 13th, 21 years ago, last February.
Wow.
Mm.
This
Yeah.
past February. So, and you were one of my earlier guests. I got to say, within the first few. Yeah, I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah, could be. No, it's good, like us weirdos got to stick together. And yeah, we did, and then eventually, yeah, your show was on ghostvillage.com, which was really cool. But see, it's this is what's so amazing to me. When Ghost Village started in 1999, 26 years ago, on a night just like this, when we started, the web was the Wild West, right? Suddenly, all the traditional media was scared because they're like, oh no, people like me. I started that website and suddenly it exploded. It was huge, right? Like there was millions of hits from all over the world, people contributing their stories, people contributing to the message boards. We got huge, and it was a wild, wild ride. I got a book deal out of it, and then more books, and then started to make a name for myself in the paranormal. Got to promote other stuff that people were doing, like you and other authors and things like that. But then around the 2010s, something happened, and that's when social media started to really blow up. And I get it, right? So my message boards had 50,000 members at one point.
Yeah.
That's a staggeringly big number. But then when everybody started moving to MySpace and then Facebook, people were saying like, well, let's just start a paranormal channel on Facebook and we'll all talk there. And so message boards like mine and really all of them started to just dwindle because people were all in one place. And I get it. I get how convenient it is to just go to one website and have like your local neighborhood, your town, your friends, your high school friends, and your interests. I get it. We just couldn't compete with it. Yeah. So social media suddenly started to make many message boards like mine irrelevant. But now we're moving into a time where if you think about it, I think people spend 95% of their time online on websites you could count on both hands, right? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X or whatever, Truth Social, whatever, TikTok, Reddit, YouTube. I mean, I don't know. What am I leaving out? You know? And people spend most of their time there. They don't go and seek out other voices anymore. And the people that control those websites, it's just a handful of people, decide what you see and what you don't see. And that's sort of frightening, right? We're right back to the 80s and 90s when a few people controlled all the media. And the only way left to go is to go old school, to go back to print, which is why I started the zine.
See how wonderful he brought that right around back to the top again.
But it's true. So look, I mean, think about like, look, man, people are turning dials, and you know how it is. You say something, and then all of a sudden you see an ad for it in social media. You're like, I'm thinking about, I need a new blender, and suddenly like there's ads for blenders. Come on, man. Like we have forfeited our freedom and control to a few billionaires that decide what we see and don't see, and the only way to take it back is for us to do a little work, you know, to actively swim out past the kiddie pool that we're in, that is social media, go back to looking for websites that have independent voices or seeking out media that's independent. When I started in the 80s and 90s, you had to pay for media, right? You had to buy newspapers, you had to buy magazines, you had to buy music. Radio was free, but they paid for it with ads. You listened to the ads and then you got to hear the content. And now, you know, we're the product. They're selling our data. Like that's the most valuable commodity. It's more valuable than oil or anything else. And we're willfully submitting to it. And there's so much to say out there, but the independent voices need a new way to get out. Otherwise, we're lost in a sea of Facebook or whatever that demands us to pay in order to promote our content or whatever. And people that think they're in charge, but they're not.
The interesting thing about that too is that, you know, books were like really big when you published a book and everything else. That was a huge thing, and it kind of like got away where it became more digital books now, and bookshops were suffering. But now I think there's definitely a swing back to the old school again.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Yep, books are coming back. And you know what I think helped a lot was COVID. So the world shut down and people were like, I've always said I wish I could read again. So they started getting books. And so they realized how enjoyable it is to sit down with a actual physical book that doesn't need batteries. It's not a screen in your face. You spend some actual quality time with the content. And I think since COVID, people have rediscovered books, and they've rediscovered that books aren't being manipulated. They're not being changed. They are what they are. And so, yeah, I think it's time for us to go back. But, you know, we had a whole generation of people grow up thinking content should be free. Music should be free. You know, when I was a teenager, I cut lawns and I did odd jobs like everybody does, you know, to earn money or whatever.
Yep.
I bet I spent 75% of the money I earned as a teenager on music. buying CDs, cassette tapes, even records. I can go back that far, right? Now all music is $10 a month, right? Spotify is $10 a month, and you get access to all music, just about. And so you've got a whole generation of people who grew up thinking like, well, music's just $10 a month. That's all you need. Not I need to cut 5 lawns to pay for that new CD. You know what I mean? And so so we need to sort of reteach people that if you want good independent voices, you have to pay for it or you become the product.
And that's the way it's going. I mean, you even look at your TV now, your cable TV and so forth. That people are, they're taking stuff away and putting together packages. Well, okay, you want to listen to these shows, you're going to have to pay for this. They've taken that freedom we had, and they kind of like making you pay for everything now. So,
TV's dead. TV is dead. Look, I mean, I cut the cable, right? I mean, I'm down to just a couple streaming services. It cost too much. I was only watching, like, you could count on one hand how many channels I was watching. I don't need 400. And the reality is that there's just nothing good that's on. And television programming, right? Like programming is down. There's a couple of really great shows, and there's sports. If you like sports, I get it. You need live TV. You don't want to miss your team. I totally understand. However, the rest of it is just way down because people aren't watching like they used to. More people have cut the cord than not. And that number is not going to get better if you're TV. There's no way to go. People still want to watch stuff. That hasn't changed. But think about it. My daughter, who's 18, she doesn't watch TV. She watches YouTube. She watches TikTok. She watches Reels on Instagram. When we were growing up, it was like, oh, I'm going to watch 2-3 hours of television tonight after I finish my homework. But no one does that anymore. So we're living in a time where people still want content, but you've got like CBS getting their butt kicked on Thursday night by people watching YouTube videos of cats running away from cucumbers. You know what I mean?
Was that funny, huh?
Yeah, and YouTube doesn't pay for that. That's just you saying, oh, I filmed my cat running away from a cucumber. I'll just upload it for free. And YouTube plays it, and we watch it, and you're not watching TV.
So exciting.
I know, but here we are. Where a cat running away from a cucumber is more interesting than anything CBS wants to put on a Tuesday night.
Do you think that we're getting that way because of the way the world is, and that there's so much shit going on now that we want to escape, so we look more to that, get away from the reality in itself, and bury ourselves in a book or a magazine or a zine or a program even, or a game, a video game, something that's taking us away from reality.
We've always used TV and we've always used media to escape. That was true in the 40s and in the 50s. That's totally true. One of the problems with the internet is that we're bombarded with more information than we've ever been bombarded with before in all of human history. Our little brains can't process it. We can't tell the difference between editorial and news. We can't tell the difference between AI and not AI. And we're being divided by billionaires who want us divided because then they can control everything. You're talking about a handful of people. There's just a few of them, and there's a lot of us. I don't think it's left and right anymore. I don't think it's the left versus the right. As much as they would like that, I think it's a few billionaires and the rest of us. Because if the economy tanks, it affects the right just as bad as it affects the left. If we lose rights, it affects both parties. So while we're bickering over a couple of issues politically, the reality is it's a handful of billionaires that are controlling us. Like we're turning into an oligarchy. So sure, we want media to escape. Of course we want to escape, but we always did. That's not different. It's just what we're escaping from might have changed over time, but media was always there to help us escape.
Okay. So I do want to get into the zine a little bit. You have 3 issues out right now.
Yes, the 4th went to the printer tonight.
Oh, wow. So the first one came out, and that was on the Bridgewater Triangle, I believe, right?
Yes, I wrote that one.
All by yourself?
All by myself.
Was it like when you used to do the early books and have your fellow authors write stories for you?
Yeah, no, this was I'm going all the way back to the very beginning to when. Yeah, I do. Yeah, that was the Encyclopedia of Haunted Places.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, that was a fun project. It was, hey, let's get the word out.
Yep,
everybody.
Bridgewater Triangle. All right. I'm sorry.
So yeah, no. So the thing about the zine, it's like a comic book size almost, but it's one story and it's 28 pages. So it's way longer than an article would be, but it's way shorter than a book would be. But it's also one story. And so I get asked about the Bridgewater Triangle all the time. I had mentioned it in one of my books, Weird Massachusetts. I had a little write up on it. I was in the Bridgewater Triangle documentary. And people have asked about it so many times that I said, "Oh, well, it'd be nice to have like a place." I don't feel like it's a whole book, not for me, but I thought it would be nice to have a place to put my thoughts on it. And so so that was the zine. So I put it out, and the thing about the zines is they're not meant to be timely. They're not meant to be like, oh, this is what's happening in June or July or August. This is an encapsulated story. And so I wrote the first one, and then and I'll write another one. But as of now, the next several are all written by other authors who are book authors, and have those stories where you're like, it's too much for an article, but it's not quite enough for a book, or it's something that I've really wanted to say, and we can put it out quickly. And there's another element to it, if we're going to be in full disclosure. And Ron, you've signed a few book contracts in your day. There's often a clause in there that says whatever book you just contracted for, this will be your next book, which could be a year and a half from now.
Yep.
Zine ain't a book. So it's a way around, it's a way around things.
Yeah, yeah. So the first one was Bridgewater Triangle. Did you enjoy writing it?
I did. I enjoyed every part of it. I love starting new stuff, whether it was Ghost Village or 30 Odd Minutes or, writing a new book, whatever it is. It's very exciting when you have an idea and you want to sit down and make it something that's real. And so, I knew, all right, I need more than just an article here. So writing it was fun, but then I had to relearn page layout. I hadn't done page layout in 25 years.
Yeah.
It was literally the 1990s, the last time I was laying pages out. And so I was like, wow. I mean, in some regard, things haven't changed much, but the software has gotten a lot better. And so I had to relearn layout software. And that was time consuming. But now I'm sort of getting the hang of it again. And I'm like, wow, this was really fun to have your idea. And it's not just in your head, but then putting it on paper, but then not just putting it on paper, but formatting it in a way with pictures and headlines and pull quotes and articles and stuff like that to say like, yeah, this is the way I want people to consume it. I want to be able to control every page of it. When you write a book with a publisher, they do all that. And they do a fine job for sure, but it's kind of nice to be in control of every single piece of it.
Yep.
You have Pukwudgie in there?
Of course. My
You
goodness
have to
gracious.
have Pukwudgies, yes.
Yes. There's Pukwudgies. Yeah. No. and no AI, by the way. There's no AI art, no AI writing, no ads. I want people to pay for the content and get the content, and nothing that's fake.
A lot of photographs by Frank Grace, right?
Yeah, Frank's amazing. So I've worked with Frank for forever, and he's such a talent, with the camera, and he and I've done a calendar every year. We have a book coming out.
I forgot about this. Another project. See what I mean? Yeah. He is the hardest working man.
Yeah, so we do an annual Haunted New England calendar every year, and then he and I have a book coming out this September called Wicked Strange New England. So,
oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So it's just I don't know, man. It's nice to have talented friends,
Mm-hmm. So when you were making that book, I mean, the Bridgewater Triangle is a giant area. There's a trillion billion stories in there. There's all kinds of stuff. That the documentary was made about it. There's books all over the place about it. Chris Bozano, one of course, Doc Woods. And so how did you, select it to bring it down to 28 pages? I mean, was there a patent to this, or how difficult was that?
So I have a theory on the Bridgewater Triangle as to like why it is what it is. Ooh. And it's not, I think it centers around the King Philip's War, right? I mean, this is such a stain that was left on the land, and it's something that that we just don't talk about, right? Like it's a part of American history. Well, pre-American history, we were still England back then. It's part of history that we just don't discuss because it's unpleasant. You're talking about 20% of the colonial population wiped out, and upwards of 80% of the native population wiped out in the King Philip's War. And yet we named towns and what was that?
Oh, that's the Jehovah Witnesses. They always come at this time.
Oh, good. I need a new copy of the Watchtower. Speaking of zines, am I right?
There you go.
The Watchtower.
There you
They've
go.
been doing zines forever.
Unfortunately, that means that we're coming up to the break. So
All right. I'll wrap it up.
Unless you can wrap it up in 1 minute. We're in
Of course I can. I can do anything in 1 minute. So I thought, like, this stain is sort of like the underlying factor of what has caused all this strangeness in the Bridgewater Triangle. So I just wanted to put it down in writing. Here's all the weird stories, but here's some real history that happened. And my conclusion is that I think that's the reason. It's a piece of history that we either don't know about or choose to ignore. And history is a nagging thing that just gnaws at us if we don't pay attention to it.
So basically, you look at the goings on in the thing and you correlate it with events in the past to come up with your hypothesis.
Yeah, well, that's basically it, right? It was why is this place so haunted, so strange? Why the monsters, the ghosts, the Pukwudgies, and everything else? And the conclusion I came up with is because of this King Philip's War, that if you go outside of Eastern Massachusetts, so few people know about it, right? Even Connecticut, New York State, forget it. Nobody's even heard about it. And you're talking about the bloodiest conflict in British or American history per capita, meaning percentage-wise.
Okay, we do have to take a break.
Oh,
You're
fine.
listening to Ghost Chronicles Book of Shadows with Marla Brooks. Yes, she's still here. She's been quiet. And
Yes.
Ron Kolick right here on TogiNet, and we're all great podcasts go to die. We're brought to you by Circles of Wisdom, 386 Merrimack Street, Methuen, Massachusetts, the Gallant Messier Family Law Group, 55 High Street, North Andover, Massachusetts, positively brilliant candles on essay, and our good friends on Ghost Chronicles Radio on Patreon. We'll be right back with more of Jeff Belanger.
Do you have a paranormal event, book, or something else you want people to know about? Then why not advertise it on Ghost Chronicles Radio? With over 150,000 downloads a month, get your message out to an audience that's interested in the subject. We have a plan at a cost that fits your needs. For more information, contact Ron Kolick at anyghostproject@comcast.net or call 978-455-6678.
Located in Illinois, there lies a sleepy little town where nothing is a common occurrence.
You going to that party in town tonight? Heck yeah! I only turned 18 once.
That is until the night of celebration.
Where the hell is she? Oh no. No, Jessica! What's happening?
From the creators of Shadowhunters, Bite Me, comes a tale of primal terror and grindcore mayhem. Shadowhunters, kill, Jessica, kill!
Hello, can you hear me? My name is Harry Price. I am speaking to you via the medium of the Ghost Box. Many of you will know I carried out the first live radio broadcast from Haunted House way back in 1936 for the BBC. Now, thanks to the wonders of modern technology, I am still able to keep abreast of 21st century ghost hunting by listening to Ghost Chronicles International on TogiNet, ParaX Radio, the Ghost Channel, and even on something called a podcast. Two splendid chaps host it. One is an American who calls himself New England's own Van Helsing, although I have discovered his real name is Ron Kolick. The other is Stephen Parsons, and he's a paranormal scientist. Well, mustache, I'm required elsewhere on something called a K2. But don't forget, I'll be listening in every Tuesday from 8 o'clock in Great Britain and 3 o'clock on the American Eastern Seaboard. I trust you will join me there.
And welcome back, and glad you stick around. Ron Kolick is still here. I'm Marla Brooks. I'm here, and our guest didn't take a runner either, Jeff Belanger. So here we go.
What is that? Why are we hearing that again?
I know. Somebody's heart.
That's my heartbeat. I'm nervous.
Oh, yeah.
I blame Jeff.
Mhm.
Oh, well,
Take the blame.
that's bizarre. Very bizarre. Anyways, before the break, you were wrapped up your theory on the Bridgewater Triangle, I believe, correct?
Yeah, I just think that we've got this piece of history that is bloody and profound and unknown, and I think history has a way of demanding to be remembered.
From ghoulies to ghosties.
Oh, are we done?
Yeah, the end of the show. There we go.
Well, good night. That was 30 odd minutes.
Good Lord.
There you go.
Hey, what a callback.
What the hell is that?
Yeah,
I
this
bl- I
thing's
blame
on
you.
it.
I blame you.
Yeah, no, fair. I'll take it. I'll take the blame.
All right. So we added your clip to the line, so evidently it effed the whole thing up.
Yeah, well, sorry about that.
Yeah. Anyway.
Now I'm in the Matrix.
Yeah. So am I, not evidently. All right. So that
What are
was
some of the other programs?
Zines.
Zines.
Yes.
It's coming
Zines.
back.
You know,
Zines.
every time I sit with him, I get blup, blup, blup. Anyway, yeah. So what are
You lose
some
a little more
other-
of the ability to use the English language.
Are you
Uh-huh,
blaming me?
exactly. Yes.
He sucks it out of you.
Yes. Yes, he does. And well, yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he's amazing. That
Excuse me,
Ron.
right here.
Yeah.
He can hear us.
Oh,
Huh.
gee, sorry, Jeff. Oh, boy.
I figured at his age, the hearing's gone. You know.
Well, with one ear maybe, but the other one I think kind of still works.
Oh, you like the
Yeah.
Beach Boy.
Keep going. I can listen to this all night.
You can get
no-
this kind of abuse
no
at home.
publi-
You don't need us.
No publicity is good publicity, you see.
That's right. They say.
Wasted 5 minutes talking about me, my own show. I love it.
It's
Yeah.
just so much fun. What can I tell you?
Oh, come on. Dining with the Dead. We could go on and on.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Yeah.
And his iguana. Don't forget the iguana.
Very
Yeah, those are good eating if you slow cook them.
Yeah.
I got a haunted one, cursed one from the Johnsons. The Johnsons brought it to me. It was cursed. Anyway, I got a question that I have to ask you before we go into the next thing.
Sure.
This is from somebody. It says, by the way, Ron, is there a way you can investigate with him, meaning you, someday? Little do they know, Jeff.
We've done that.
Exactly. Been there, done that.
You should have been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know. Like, look, I'm gonna have more free time coming up in the summer.
Are you getting fired?
No, that's not it. But well, you know what else? Like, my daughter's going away to college.
Get out of here.
I know, in September. Like, I'm gonna be an empty nester. I'll be looking for stuff to do to keep the rifle out of my mouth.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Actually, we did probably one of my most interesting investigations was with Wendy Reardon.
Oh my. Right. Of course. Who could forget?
Yep.
The haunted pole dancing studio.
Absolutely. That made my book, and it's one of the most popular ones, actually.
It's funny. Wendy, she's moved. I think she lives in the
Alabama.
South now. Yeah, right. So she had a pole dancing studio where she would teach pole dancing, and she thought it was haunted. And Lloyd Auerbach, parapsychologist from California, right?
Mhm.
I got an email from him, and the subject was just, "You owe me." And he said, this woman's been corresponding with me. She sends me these videos. She thinks her place is haunted, but I'm in California. She's in the Boston area. You're near her. Do you want to go check it out? And I saw the videos and I'm like, yes, I do. And I'll need help. And I said, Ron, I got an investigation. He's like, I don't know. I'm a busy guy, a lot going on. I'm like, it's a haunted pole dancing studio. He's like, when do we go? The car's packed. Show me the address. And so a group of us went there, and it was fun. It was interesting. We learned how to pick up dollar bills with our butts.
Actually,
Nice.
It was a $20 bill, and I was quite impressed with it. I didn't think you could do that, and then
Well, I could only do it with 20s. Ones wouldn't work.
No.
And then once I did that, you didn't want it back, so it worked out.
The cool thing about it, talk about Jeff. Jeff actually invited this neighbor who was a particle engineer, right?
Yeah, Rob. Yeah.
Yeah, because one of the phenomena that Wendy recorded was these light anomalies on the camera. So we thinking dust or whatever, but yeah, it was interesting. That was one of my favorite
crowning moments.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
In fact, she's going to be on next month on the show because the Pope's died, of course, and
she's a papal scholar. I forgot.
That's right. Yes. So she'll be on the show next month.
Gosh, that's amazing. So there was another. So remember the show Girls Next Door on the E channel? It was Hugh Hefner and his three blonde.
I didn't watch that. Maybe you did.
I did.
Yeah. So it was the Playboy Mansion, the three blonde girls that were Hugh Hefner's girlfriends. Someone asked me once, this was back in like 2006 or 7. They said, "Hey, did you see the Halloween episode?" I said, "No, I don't really watch it." And they said, "You should watch it." And Bridget Marcourt, who's one of the three girls, she's like, "I think the Playboy Mansion's haunted, and I really want to be a paranormal investigator." And there's a scene where she's in her bedroom in the mansion, and she pulls a book off the shelf, and she goes, "Encyclopedia of Haunted Places." And there's my book with the cover right there.
Cool.
And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm in the Playboy Mansion." And so I emailed her through her website, and she wrote me back. And
Really?
the funny thing is, like, we've been friends ever since. She has a podcast now. She's way into the paranormal. I've been on her show multiple times. I was in LA. We had dinner. Like, I've seen her at like multiple events now, and she's truly way into the paranormal. And I was like, wow, I was in the Playboy Mansion. I'm like, hey, if you need help investigating, I got a team with experience that's ready. We will head out there post haste. So anyway.
So back to Zines before we get sidetracked again, which we probably will, but that's besides the point. The next zine was, because there's 3 out now, right?
Yeah, 3 are out right now.
Yeah, and the second one is that Richard Estep's one?
Richard Estep. Yep. So it's the Ghosts and Monsters of Cornwall, England. Richard is a Brit, born and raised in England, and part of my goal with this is to show diversity in locations and voices and everything else. And I said, all right, a lot of people I think know me as like the New England guy, right? New England legends and everything else.
Right.
And I said, well, I want to make sure it's and Bridgewater Triangle, of course, is in Massachusetts, but I wanted to make it clear that the Shadow Zine is meant to be global. And so I said, Richard, what do you got? And he said, I'm staying in a haunted castle in Cornwall, and there's piskies, which are like pixies, but that's their own version. There's lake monsters, Tommy knockers, and then Arthurian legends and ghosts. And I was like, oh, this sounds great. So he stayed in this haunted castle, and he wrote the zine while he was there in the castle, and it's really cool. There's magic in that, spirit of place. It just sort of bleeds through.
Right, and so it looks at the story a different way than what you did. You were accounted things and then came up with the theory. Does he do the same format, or is it just different?
I think Richards is more of a chronicle of some of the weirdness, and then his own experiences as he was investigating some of these things. As you know, quite often you go to places and you know where the ghosts were, you just don't know where they are right now, right? So I think that was more the case of him just sort of chronicling some of the strangeness, and also though the culture, right? So the thing about Cornwall is that there's certain parts of the world, certain parts of the country where people don't really talk about the paranormal. We don't talk about that, right? But over there, it's just whatever, you're getting your groceries and you're talking about, giants and fae folk and lake monsters and so on. It's just a little more matter of fact, which is really cool about the culture, that it's just understood that there are these magical creatures that share the world with us, and they're around us all the time.
Yeah, so that was the second one, and then you switched gears again, and you brought our good friend Marla Ventura,
Yeah.
who will be here actually in New England the end of next month, and she's doing an event with me, Dining with the Dead, which you've done.
Yes. Varla,
So-
I've known her for years.
Me too.
Yeah, so
We're trying to
she's
figure out who know who the longest, but yeah, whatever.
well. So I mean, so she, she's a great writer, and I told her she was one of the early people I told about the zine as well, and she was a zine nerd too way back in the day. We're basically the same age, and grew up around a lot of that stuff. And she said, "Oh my gosh, there's this story," and I've heard of the story, right? I didn't know a lot about it before she did the zine, and I got to read it and edit it and put it together. But she said, "Did you hear about this book that was allegedly written by Mark Twain through a Ouija board?"
Yeah.
And I went, "Oh, I have heard that. Like, I don't know much about it, but I just like that much. I heard that much." And she said, "Well, in 1917, there was this book that was written by Emily Grant Hutchins, although it says, though, through a Ouija board, where she claims Mark Twain basically dictated a novel to her." And I'm like, "Oh, 1917. That means it's all public domain. It means we can do excerpts and we can talk about it." And she's like, "There were lawsuits. There was all this, controversy over it." And I love that. I love that, that exists. And so I said, let's do it. Let's make that Zine 3. It's a unique story, and it's one that I think a lot of us have sort of vaguely heard about. Ouija boards are iconic, of course, and so she got to work, and it was really interesting to get through that, and I love that she asks like some big questions, because there's, you've heard of like fan fiction, right? Wasn't 50 Shades of Grey? Isn't that like fan fiction off of the Twilight series? Right? Isn't that where that was born or something?
I can't help you there.
I know, but so that there's a thing where you're so enamored with a story that someone else wrote, like another author, that you find yourself trying to write and emulate that person and that voice.
Okay.
And that's fine. But is that what happened here, or was she really channeling Mark Twain? Now, Twain Scott. What's that?
Wait a minute. Or was it the first texting from the dead?
Right. And why did Mark Twain pick her? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so,
Maybe she was a
Ron,
babe.
you've written books. You know how long it takes you to write a book, right?
Yeah.
Imagine it coming through a Ouija board.
I can't.
How long would it take for you to get 1,000 words out of a Ouija board, right?
But in all fairness, though, Jeff,
yeah,
there are people that I can't do it. All right, I hate texting. I won't text, but I see people texting away like they're, I don't know, they're possessed. They go, it's like, holy crap, how do they do that? That's basically insane. So maybe that planchette is like zipping around the board, and wow, I don't know.
I hope so, because man, oh man, like, yeah. So anyway, so the fact that someone had the patience, which I would never have, to sit there while a whole book gets dictated, but it begs the question. Now, Twain scholars sort of pointed out, like, this ain't him. This isn't good enough to be him. Although they sort of claimed parts of the parts of the book were pretty good, and then parts were not so good. And so, who wrote what or when or how, but the fact that they used the Mark Twain name, the estate sued, Twain's publisher sued, it became a whole big thing, as you would imagine. I mean, that's no shock. But also the idea that we want to keep him around. I sort of get it, right? Like this guy, I mean, Mark Twain was the biggest literary treasure of his day. Like that was as big a name as you could get. Yeah. And he died.
Belanger today.
Right, just like that. But he died, and you want more, right? We want more from him. So could you get more out of the Ouija board? And these are huge questions. Is the Ouija board really a conduit to the other side? Is it just a device to get into your own self-conscious, or what is it? And I love those discussions. I love that, even people that think like, come on, it's just a toy. It's just cardboard and plastic or wood or whatever. There's still that little piece of you that goes, oh, but what if?
Mm-hmm.
What if it really is something that allows us to sort of tap into our psychic abilities or whatever you want to call them. And that's those are the questions she asked, and it was great. It was brilliant, and I'm thrilled with the way that one came out.
Yeah. So
So what's number 4 that you just put in?
Yeah, number 4 just went to the printer tonight. It's the Mineral Wells Haunted Hill House by Greg Lawson. And Greg is a Texas guy. He's a lifelong law enforcement who just retired, and but also a paranormal person. And he's written a bunch of books. And we were talking about. I said, "Hey, how about a great Texas story? Mineral Wells. You may have heard of the Baker Hotel, only because it's been on every ghost hunting show there is. This giant abandoned Baker Hotel, and Greg covers that because it's a big part of Mineral Wells. But there's also this little house called the Hill House. It's over a century old." And, Greg sort of brought his police investigation acumen and his paranormal investigation acumen to this house and made some discoveries that were pretty amazing. He metal detected the yard. He, did a deep dive on the house and had his own unexplained experiences while he was there. So this was very much almost like a journal of an investigation into the house, which is really cool. So what he found, where he found it, and photos that sort of take you through. So it's one town with a focus on the Baker Hotel, but really the Hill House.
yeah, that's intriguing. It's once again, it's a journal type thing where people, authors, convey their own personal experiences into a greater story.
Yeah, it's like nothing like it really exists. It's like a digest, right? But it's by one author. It's not a bunch of different. I write the editorial for each one, but this is by one author, one story, and they're telling that story. It's weird. It's different. It's like a mini digest, a mini book. One person that I debuted the second one at the Missouri Paracon rather in Kansas City back in February. And I remember this woman saying, she's like, I know a lot of you are authors and I want to be supportive, but I just don't have the time for a book. But a zine, I have time for this. This is great. I love the size. I was like, well, there you go. So if you don't want the full meal, you can have the starter plate.
So
All
are
right.
you looking for more people doing it? And
Yeah, of course.
Where can they get you in touch?
Well, the website's shadowzine.com. I've got the next several lined up. And then I want to write another one too. I've got to get myself back in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But I'm doing one a month. They come out basically the first business day of each month, and they have since February. So I've made it, February, March, April, and I will May too. So yeah, I'm doing one a month.
So you got to have something lined up, or else, you could run into some problems if someone falls behind.
Well, that's the thing. And what's really neat is that part of the point too is that, these are people I admire and I've known for years and I admire their writing. And so we're building a brand called Shadow Zine, but like it was neat. So Varla Ventura has her own audience, and there were a lot of people that bought just her zine. They're like, "Oh, cool, I want to support you." But then they saw this is issue 3. That means there's 2 other issues. And some of them have come back and bought issue 1 and 2. And the whole idea is let's cross-pollinate our audiences. Greg Lawson has his audience. And I mean, each author has a group of people. Richard has his own audience who suddenly realize like, oh, this is issue 2. That means there's another one,
Right.
And so how can we sort of like expose people to the writing and the work of other folks, in this great digest? So ultimately, look, paranormal is been all but canceled on every single TV network. You keep it alive, of course. You've got your radio show, you've got your work, I've got my work, and everything else. People still want this stuff, but it's not going to have the mass market appeal that TV gave it.
Right.
When did it hit its peak? 7, 8 years ago, when there were 27 shows on at once. Those days are over. So it's going back underground, which is where it started, which is where we were, right, before the shows came on. And it's where I'm comfortable. I like underground. It's cozy down here. Like we were never supposed to go mainstream. We just did. And so I'm kind of thrilled that it's going back to its roots again.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, and I'm so happy that you're involved, because I know that it'll come out with a quality product.
Exactly.
Well, thanks.
True.
So you edit the zines themselves? I mean, is there when you're involved in editing? How? I mean, what do you read the story and then like say, okay, this really doesn't belong there? Are you really how
Yeah.
deep of editing do you do? That's what I was trying to figure out.
Yeah. So when someone pitches the idea, we talk about it. Like, okay, what kind of things we want to cover? How can we break it up so it's not just like one long article, but like maybe, shorter pieces within a bigger framework. And then so they sort of pitch the idea. Now these are competent writers. These are people that know how to write books and stuff. So they give it to me in a Microsoft Word document, and then I go through that and I read it, and I'm like, oh, this, can we I know with Richard, I was like, oh man, this experience sounds amazing, but you only gave us 2 sentences on it. Can you tell us more? And he's
Yeah.
like, oh, you're right. I should beef that up. Or let's mention this thing earlier so it's more of a payoff later. Just sort of the same editing you do with a book, just smaller scale. And then once it's done with that and it goes back and forth a couple times, it gets proofread. And then I start the layout process, and I forgot how much I loved page layout because it's like solving a puzzle. We've got to get all these words down and all these pictures and historic photos and images and everything else. And how do we get it all to fit, in a neat package and make it appealing? And I forgot how much fun that part of the process is. So like when I write, I can't have any sound on. I can't have music. I can't have anything. I need silence. But when I'm doing page layout, I can have music on. I can like just enjoy like the flow and the art of it. And so I love, love, love being part of like every piece of it, from the developmental editing to, putting it down to literally the printer's 15 minutes from my house. So, even picking it up is super fun. We've got fans at the printer because they mostly print like medical journals and college stuff and like and direct mail pieces. And so when I called them, I said, "Hey, I want to do a zine," and they're like, "What's a zine?" And now, there's whenever I go pick it up, there's this sweet old lady that she's just like, I read these. I'm like, well, you should pay me. She's like, they're so fun. Where I live, the town's haunted. I'm like, I'm sure it's haunted. Of course, it's all haunted. But
Everywhere's haunted.
Everywhere's haunted. But it's just so fun to they're like, they look forward to it because this is the most interesting thing they print. Which, by the way, that's not me bragging. That's a low bar. You know what I mean? Like they've got these giant medical textbooks and stuff, and they're like, and then Shadow Zine. So they're pretty psyched to have a weird thing, I think, in their wheelhouse.
Yeah. So, absolutely. So, there we go again.
It's the Jehovah's Witnesses with their
the pizza from the dead this time.
They should just bring around some some Shadow Zines mixed in with the Watchtower.
Oh, you could pay a few bucks.
That I'd like to see.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
A few bucks, and there you go.
Yeah.
Anyways,
what a distribution. Hey, would you like the Watchtower? No, get off my lawn. I have my own religion.
But I have Zine.
Would you like to buy a Shadow Zine? Oh, I'm listening. Go on. Ooh, fancy.
Good idea.
Yeah. If you don't want this, maybe you'd like that. Oh, okay. Love it. What are you working on now, Ron?
You.
Okay. How's that going?
Well, the show's over, so I done my duty.
Oh. How about you, Marla?
I'm doing lots of stuff. I'm doing shows. I've got a book coming out, another book, and I keep busy. Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
No, books aren't easy.
No.
But there must be some stupid reason we keep doing them.
Yeah. So you see, we changed the thing. I now have 4 co-hosts on the Ghost Chronicles. So each one has their own little taste to it. So
yeah, I
still have the other shows too, the international show and the morning edition. Each one is totally different and everything. But I even do a show called The Affection Connection.
No, I didn't know about that one.
Yes. So if you and Megan have marital problems, you can write me a letter and it will straighten you right out.
He's a Dear Abby in disguise.
Oh my gosh. What's the name of that woman? She's got a really popular podcast where couples literally come on and they do couples therapy, but they understand they're being recorded for like the whole world to hear.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no kidding. She's wildly popular. She's huge. She does
imagine.
Like theater tours and stuff. It's gonna Ethel. Oh, I forget. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But But yeah, that's good. Wow. Well, I'll let Megan know.
Yeah. All right, we do have to go. Jeff, it was great talking
Yeah, you too. Thank
with
you.
you again. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, man. We should hang out again and go look for ghosts somewhere.
Yeah, at least get a drink anyway.
Yeah. Well, either way, or just
Well,
yeah, we could
it's
just skip it.
spirits or spirits, right?
Yeah, we could
Anyways,
skip.
I gotta go. I guess. I think we're out of time. I'm not sure. I can't tell anything anymore now.
Fair enough.
It looks like we're out of time. Good night. God bless everyone. Stay safe.
From goalies to ghosties, long-leggedy beasties, and things that go bump in the night. Deliver us, good Lord.